let me
All right.
grab
So as Lee's
my
pulling this up, I'll kind of intro this. So I knew he was doing a construction project. He said something about a parking lot, and then all of a sudden he sends this like 8-minute video to our text chain. I'm like, what the hell just happened? Like, and I've been obsessed with it ever since he sent it to me. So I'm trying to find financing. I'm trying to find land, which is a little bit harder around here than it is where Lee is. But just go into this, trying to figure out, okay, things that we always say, "Man, if I can do it, then you can do it." So although this might look a little bit unbelievable once we get to the end, Lee's going to teach you how it can become believable if you just kind of do what Lee does. All right, take it away, Lee.
yeah. So I want this super interactive. So if you guys have questions, just pop in. I know Travis is he's
I'm going to have a ton of
chomping at the
questions.
bit to
So
ask. So and we can kind of land. There's like multiple layers to this this whole project. Obviously, it's probably been in like the concept probably over 10 years in my head banging around. And then once we got to the point where we purchased the land, that process was about a 2 year from purchasing the land, scouting the land, purchasing it, and then actually opening the doors. It was probably about a 2 year process. So it's a pretty long runway, but and there's other even steps within your practice that you need to get dialed in to make this happen as well. So, but anyway, yeah, let's just jump in and let's see if we can help you guys dream a little bit. So let me see. How do I do the up and down? Hang on. What?
arrows.
Okay. Arrows. Hang on. There
There
we
you
go.
go. You got it.
I got to do a tap on mine. So I'm sure Amy, some of you guys who've been around the NLPT guys back in our mastermind days, we have our 10-year vision. So one of the keys here is establishing clear goals for us. What's crazy is I look at this. I wrote this probably back in 2018 maybe.
18. Yeah.
Yeah, and each year, I mean, it's pretty close. I mean, we got a little speed bump with COVID, but if I'm looking at Camp 3, which is the one that we're approaching now, like those numbers are still like dialed in to where they were 5 years ago, which is crazy to me. Because when I was writing this, I'm like, there's no way we're going to be doing like 3.7 million and have 6 locations and 16 teammates and blah blah blah. But this is kind of like the next ascent that we're on right now. So it's pretty cool to kind of revisit that. But that being said, you've got to kind of envision what your clinic, what you want it to look like. And
So I'll add to
um,
that, Lee. You've got to have it, and
yeah,
then you got to make it public. So it's not like Lee wrote this and then shoved it in a drawer. Like it's
yeah,
two ways. There's two really powerful things that it does. One, when you interview people, and we use that in the interview process, and certainly in the hiring process. Like the last thing on the first day, we go through the Everest mission, which actually I talked about last week. So it's like that's probably my favorite part of my job. Is like here's what we need to do. And how are you going to help us get there? It's not like come along for the ride. It's like we hired you because you're going to be a part of this process. It also holds Lee accountable. He can't like post this up somewhere and then come into work and like, yeah, I don't know, we'll just kind of stay status quo here. So it's super powerful on both ends of that. And it seems goofy when you write it because it's the same thing you just said. I don't know how that like how am I going to get the 34 therapists and 10 locations? Doesn't matter. All I need to do is figure out how in the next 90 days I'm going to get a little bit closer to that. All right. Sorry to interrupt you, Lee. Keep going.
no, you're good. Yeah, it's fine. So yeah, so once you've got that vision, then you've got this kind of dream in your head. You need it to have it come to fruition. And so basically, obviously, the first thing when we're talking about expansion and clinics, you got to have some land. Uh, and there's a huge process there. I have some tools that we'll share. Obviously, Sharif was talking about, September and Scottsdale, Phoenix. Like we'll be able to dive deep into a lot of these different areas here. But what are you looking for with that land? For us, it was very strategic where we placed it. It was kind of an up and coming commercial area. This is in our the largest retirement community in America, and it's in Hot Springs Village, Arkansas. Population is like 12,000 people. They're all retirees, and so we were able to find this location. We did some things with every door direct mail, so you can get a lot of demographics there, like on like you can search. I think I've done different talks on this before,
Yeah,
where you
household
just go in.
income.
Yeah, you can get
Yeah.
the median income, and how many homes are like within a certain area, what their average income is. So we kind of use that tool as well, free tool. I'm all about the no ad spend and minimizing costs or whatever. So anyway, so we found our location, and this is it. They kind of graded it out, and anyway, yeah, this is pretty much what Arkansas looks like. So
That's a
uh,
high commercial area. You said Lee said that,
I
right?
know, right?
It's a
Yeah, it's like
very up and
all
coming commercial area. A lot of trees.
yes, we're the second building in there, but we're struggling to get a Walmart neighborhood market close by. So that's just for some perspective there. Like we have a Dollar General. What's the one that Dollar General and something else they combine?
Family
We have
Dollar. I
one of
don't know.
the, yeah, something like that. Yeah. That's close by too. But anyway, so the second step, once you've got your land, purchase that. So one thing, just kind of tax wise, and part of what drove this for me was just talking to our tax strategist. She was telling us you need to get real estate, get some property. And so that was one of the driving forces. One of the challenges with the land is it's not a tax write off. So you've got to pay. So our property, we paid like 195K for it. I still don't know the actual acreage. I know Travis has been asking me about that. But we had to come up with 20% down on that. So it was like whatever, 40K or something around that. Um, and then we financed the rest, and we basically just had to sit on that land for like a year. There's no tax write off. There's nothing you can do to offset that until you've got your building on there. So anyway, that was the first step. We just kind of bit the bullet, and then the next one was so we selected the land. Now we're moving into the builder. Well, the builder we chose kind of fell in our lap, which is kind of how all this stuff really is. You kind of look back at it, every domino just kind of fell perfectly for us. He was kind of developing that commercial area for us, and had already built an 8,000 square foot building. And so when we were getting ready, I just talked to him. Uh, he had already done the pre work on the land. And it was just a matter of like, I want to kind of replicate what you've got, but we don't need quite that much size. So we ended up opting for about a 6,000 square foot building. That was kind of our fingerprint that we had decided to go with. So and how we structured it, he's like, well, basically the deal that he told me is like, we're just going to do cost plus 10%. That's what I'm going to charge you for this. And what was nice with this guy, he was building probably 30 homes in this retirement community. So he had his team right there. And then if they were slow, they could come work on our building. So we never really, the timetable of how everything fell through or fell was perfect. Like the biggest delays that we had during the whole process was more related to weather than actual like supply chain or having workers ready to go. So that was super nice. Um, and then so yeah, then here comes the blueprint. Let me get my little bar out of the way. So this is basically I just on my iPad kind of sketched out how I wanted the clinic to look. And what we ended up doing here is we developed like three different businesses here. So we have physical therapy, obviously that's our core service, and then the gym. I don't know how many of you guys have your own gym within your physical therapy. It seems kind of a seamless transition to like have patients go from PT to your gym.
Amy does.
I know, yeah. So I know there's several owners out there that are like that. And then we added for our component that's unique is we added a golf simulator TrackMan base. So within this largest community, there's like 10 golf courses, and most of these people golf around here. And so, and I have a passion for golf. That was kind of goes back to the 10-year vision of like what would my dream clinic look like? It would have PT, an area for people to work out, and then to work on their golf game. And so that's kind of the sketch here.
Okay,
What we
stop right there.
developed.
Hold on.
Okay.
This is
Yeah.
my favorite.
Sorry.
This is my favorite slide in all at least entire presentation. Guess what? He got out a pencil and maybe a ruler. I can't even tell. And he just wrote shit down on a piece of paper. And then you just kind of keep taking the next step. Most people will
Yeah.
stall and be like, this is never gonna work. This is for other people. Like I'm telling you, if Lee's a special dude, but he will tell you if Lee can do it, then you can do it too. So he's got 2,000 square feet all the way to the left. That's the PT space, and then he's got
Yeah.
2,700 square foot of gym space, and then he's got 1,250 square feet of golf space. All right.
Yeah, that's actually not. I mean, this was the initial. We've kind of tweaked it a little bit, but and even like I don't know if y'all can see this or not, but I had these these visions of like, when you go to the mall and you go to Dillard's, they have these huge glass doors to close the entrance. Well, that's kind of how I thought like the barriers would be between the clinic and then the gym and then the golf simulator. Well, that's not how it happened, and it actually turned out better than what I thought initially. So, and there's quite a few iterations of this kind of initial sketch or whatever. I wish it would have been on a napkin, but we're kind of high tech. It was on an iPad. So, but anyway, so I took this, and then we talked to our architect, and they create this really cool, blueprint for. And there's actually, now that I look at it, I see one little thing that I didn't catch, that bugs me. But I'm not going to tell y'all until you come visit. You'll just have to show it in person. But yeah, so this was the sketch here, and so there's kind of a segue to the next thing. So I got this sketch. I was like, oh, this is super cool. We still hadn't. We've kind of had talked to Brandon. We hadn't secured financing. This was probably in February of last year. Yeah, 23. And so, so I made a post on Facebook. Oh, hang on, let me go back. Yeah, here we go. So hang on, what happened there? Did I miss one? Wait, how do I
If you
go
use the
back?
mouse, sometimes it messes up
There we
the
go. I
arrow.
got you. Okay, so we got the blueprint. Okay, here we go. Wait a second. Maybe I missed something. Okay, my bad. I'm missing my segue here. Okay, so financing. So how this happened? So these are all the different banks that we use within our business. So I actually have five banks that I use, and this is kind of a key takeaway. If you're banking like at Wells Fargo or Bank of America or Chase, these big conglomerates, has anybody heard of any of these banks? Jeremy may have, since he's around here, but
No.
they're I mean, like Bank OZK, I mean, that's a pretty big bank for my area. Simmons is pretty big. Arvest is pretty big, kind of in the kind of regionally over here. But Reliance Bank, Chambers, those are smaller banks. And so the key here when it comes to the financing component it's all relational. So you've got to have relationships with these small bankers that are wanting to really work with you hand in hand. So if you're working with Wells Fargo or these big banks, it's just you're just a number. You're not really on their radar. So relationship is huge. What's funny about our situation is all these banks that we bank at, we didn't even use any of these banks to finance our project. We had talked to Arvest and Bank OZK, but they were going the traditional 80-20 kind of thing is what they were wanting us to do. And so anyway, after I got my architectural drawing, I made a post on Facebook. This is what I meant to show you guys. So I made this post like, hey, yeah, we got a secret location. I didn't tell them anything about where it was. I just posted this up, and just kind of for some intrigue and mystery or whatever. And so after I posted that, there's a guy in my church that's a banker, and he's like, hey, Lee, I saw your drawing on Facebook. It looks like you're constructing a new physical therapy office. I don't know if you've secured financing. However, I can provide you with 100% financing under our medical professional product. And I was like, okay, cool. Let's have a conversation. um, so yeah, reached out to Blake, and basically the criteria that they have to secure this is 51% of the square footage has to be used for medical. And basically the physical therapy in the gym, which comprised, 5,200 of the 6,000 square feet, was basically medical. And we probably could have made a justification for the TrackMan stuff that we did as well. So he's like, yeah, you guys meet that criterion. The second criterion, and this is another thing that you have got to have in order, is they're going to want financial records at the wazoo. So if you're just doing like monthly, or if you're just doing like yearly or quarterly calls with your CPA, that's not going to cut it. You've got to have like monthly financials ready to go and have that in order. And this is something like back when Travis and I, when the founders all got together in the boondocks of Chattanooga, like I had no clue on this stuff. Like, so definitely got to get the financial component dialed in. And then another component, and this kind of ties into physical therapy billing, is you've got to be profitable within your practice. And for me, like a huge component of that is obviously having your billing team dialed in. And that was something back in the Chattanooga days. We didn't have that dialed in. We were doing in-house, and anyway, just had so many leaky holes in our bucket, and that's the one bucket you don't want to have leaky holes in is your dollars, your bank account. so, um, so anyway, so we had that dialed in, and again, this is like that longer vision that you're looking. So 2017, 5 years later, we've got our the billings dialed in. We've got systems in place, like Sharif was talking about. We've got uh, our monthly meetings with the CPA. All those things are dialed in. We're getting financials. He would ask me for financials. I'm like, boom, here, I could email you whatever you need within like 5 minutes or whatever. So that was a huge thing. Just giving him confidence that we kind of knew what we were doing as far as the financial part of it. So yeah, so that's pretty much how it went down. And then any questions there? I feel like there may be some more.
Yeah, I just want to point out so the way I used to do it and the way most younger businesses, younger practice owners, not younger, but just less experienced, is like, well, the main strategy is just to spend all my money by the end of the year so I don't have to pay taxes on it. Well, if you're gonna do that, you're not gonna get a building. So there has
Yeah,
to be a strategy in place. The strategy is not, hey, can we buy like 20 grand of equipment we don't need so that I don't have to pay taxes on it? That's not a strategy. You've got to have this stuff in place because if you go to a bank and you don't show profitability, then the bank's gonna be like, yeah, I'm gonna pass on this opportunity. But what Lee did is he showed them now like we're a sustainable business. Think about what a bank wants to, who a bank wants to lend money to. They want to lend money to stable businesses that they know they're going to get paid back. So that's a really
yeah,
important factor.
yeah, for sure. Yeah. So yeah, that was huge. Uh, and that's something that we took a lot of time and work on. So but yeah, Blake was awesome. Once we got going on the project, uh, they pretty much just released, one of Brandon's the developer or the contractor that we used, the builder. He was like, "Hey, we need 100 grand up front," and I was like, "Well, let's talk to the bank and see how we want to work through that." And so we were able to just have a draw sheet, and Blake, the banker, pretty much just he would send, "Okay, we need 100K to pay off the foundation people." Boom, he would just send it. So it was like super seamless on that part. Um, is there any other questions? Anybody having questions on the whole financing part of it, or just the process, like up
So
to this point?
you didn't put anything down. You didn't put any money down.
I put nothing down.
Okay. And so why did the bank decide to do that? Because when you make a loan, you want to have like some skin in the game. If you put nothing down, then if I'm the bank, I'm like, well, this guy could just walk away from this whenever he wants, I
Yeah,
guess. But
yeah.
how is it
So
just based on your previous finances, they've trusted you?
well, so we have to have like certain like deposits within the bank. I mean, that's kind of so you're basically your reserve accounts kind of sit in their check their bank. So
Okay.
we transferred some funds over there, but still our money. So it's
Hmm.
not like we're having to pay our money there. So that was one of their things is they needed deposits in there from our reserves to be able to feel justified and safe, I guess. I mean, they've got a track record. Most medical facilities, they're sticking around for a long
Hmm.
time.
Yep.
Um, and especially as they're going through those finances and looking at those different things, there's a confidence there that you know, they're smart. If you're in finance at one point, you guys crunch the numbers and they know what to look for as red flags and warning signs of something that may be kind of a made of stick and rubble that can just burn down at any given point there. So, but yeah, so the building part of it was great. And then let me just keep going. So when we went to purchasing the equipment, the key insight here, and I can wrap up like after this probably, is just to talk to other business owners. So especially specifically, the physical therapy side of it, like I know what I want. We've got 5 clinics. So over the course of those different clinics that we've opened, I figured out how I want the flow of everything. Uh, the last two clinics we opened, we pretty much had an open canvas, so I could design it exactly how I wanted to. The first couple, you're kind of just fitting, your square peg into a circle or whatever. So that was a little bit more of a challenge. But over the years, you kind of figure out how you want things to flow and that sort of thing. But for the gym component of it, like I wasn't sure on a lot of that. So I had Zach was a PT student of ours that is now a clinic owner and has his own gym. So I talked to him a bunch. He was like, "Hey, make sure you have mirrors in your gym." That wasn't even on my radar. So we got like a whole wall of mirrors. He also helped me with we do it's not 24-hour access, but they have remote access where they just scan. We use their system that he recommended. Actually, I used a different system, but he had recommended getting some kind of system where um, we're basically open 5 a.m. to 8 p.m. in the gym. Like we don't necessarily have to have someone on staff. It's pretty much run by itself. We do like 8 to 5 Monday through Friday. We have a personal trainer in there, but she also helps out in the physical therapy component. So that was another factor there that we're just trying to minimize like labor costs on that end. So they just scan Bluetooth to get in and out. There's magnet doors to get access to that. And then we did a ton of research just on the components of the golf simulator area, where like what kind of simulator, how much square feet do we need? And initially we had 4 TrackMan bays that we were going to do. Well, we settled in on 2. And that was that. So again, that's keyless entry. Pretty much, you just scan it, go in there, turn on the machine if you're after hours, and go at it. And then we also did some on-site visits where we went to a couple of the guy who actually constructed the TrackMan studios for us. He did a build out down in Orlando that I went and visited, and then we went to Nashville to look at another one. And then there was another TrackMan studio that had just built close to us in Little Rock that we checked out. And that one we actually were members for like 4 months going into the project. So just doing some intel on getting the inner workings of the TrackMan golf studio part of it.
Yeah,
So
so that's an important point that you just did that is natural to you, but I don't want to skip over that. So if you want to learn how to do something, you should probably find somebody that's already doing it and just kind of cheat off their paper. And most people are pretty open to that. Like if you go up to someone that owns a TrackMan facility and said, "Hey, this is incredible. You're amazing. How did you do this?" Like they're probably just going to give you information for free, as long as you're not like right next door to them. So as it turns out, Nashville is not a competing market for where Lee is. So neither
right,
is Orlando.
yeah,
So
exactly.
yeah, like how much, I mean, if you had never done that, do you think this project would have been a lot harder?
Oh yeah, it would have been. I probably would have paid a lot more for the build outs, and because I probably would have just gone with the TrackMan rep, which his name is David. We bought the TrackMans from him, but I had another guy do the actual build out for us, and they were going to charge probably 30% more than what we actually built it out for, and it probably wouldn't have been, you know, there's just certain things that we picked up looking at those different areas that were really, really cool. Uh, even like picking up the furniture, like the guys shared, like here's the chairs that we do in our golf sim area or whatever. So yeah, if we wouldn't have done that, it would you just been kind of going in blind.
Yeah.
So
So that's why I hang out with Lee because when I want to do a building, I'm just going to talk to him. That's how it works.
there you go. Yeah.
All right, keep going,
Um,
Lee. Sorry
okay. No, it's fine. You're good. And then there's like tons of Facebook groups. There's, I know who's the dude who does all the like uh kind of Hormozy or whatever.
yeah, sales guy.
Sales guy, yeah, he's done,
Owns a gym.
100K gym or whatever, so I
100K
followed him on
offers. I think
Instagram.
his book, yeah, his
100K
book's
offer,
100,
yeah,
100K offers. Yeah.
yeah. He's got some
It's a good
great
book.
stuff out there too.
Yeah, it's a good book.
Just for PT
Oh, look at
related too.
this.
Oh, there you go, 100 million
Sharif
leads. Is that him? All
Sharif
right, way to
sleeps
go,
with it
Sharif.
under his pillow every night.
I
That's what
love
he
it.
does.
That's it. All right, got my plug there. But yeah, so just start following these influencers that are kind of in like leading the charge in your space is huge. So followed him. There's some Facebook groups on that you can ask different owners, which is great. It's kind of like the PT NOPT base camp. just getting in there, networking with other owners, asking them different questions and whatnot. So that was another key port. We got a ton of insight from owners doing that as well. And then selling the memberships, basically, so we have about 3,000 square feet for the gym. We're 2 months in, and we've sold 143 of the gym memberships. And our initial goal for the first 6 months is to be at 150, and then we're going to gradually release probably 25 to 30 until we hit that 300 point of members, because we didn't want to just unleash 300 members into the gym and it just be a cluster with like parking and just logistics. So we just are kind of leading those out just a little bit at a time. But basically what we did is, like, everything has been super secretive. It's been just like this mysterious building, and we just built a lot of anticipation in that respect. I know Jeremy's he's doing some fitness stuff, and we have basically sent out like 3 emails, and that's how we've got the 140 signups. And then you get kind of a cascade effect once you're open. I think we had about 85 that signed up before we even opened the doors, and then we've got another 60 or so since we've opened the doors. And then kind of our next launch. So this is up to no ad spend up to this point. This is showing a postcard that we're going to be sending out in the next 3 or 4 weeks, just to try to push to about 200 members. That's kind of where we feel like we're going to settle in at for that. And then for the golf sim area, and one thing that we're doing is we're just doing pay in full, cash or check. So the members, we're not doing a monthly membership. We're not doing silver sneakers. And that's pretty much what we tell them. And if they object to that, we're like, okay, there's other options to do silver sneakers. I'm already in the medical billing space. I don't want to have to bill for a gym membership. So that was kind of our option. And so we're doing like a $400 pay in full, and they're just writing checks for us to do that. The other thing that I like about that is, after 2 or 3 months of paying $40 or $50, I don't have to worry about them dropping off. I can just like focus on providing a great service for them. And then around Christmas time is when we'll start hitting them to renew their memberships and everything. And then for the golf simulator business, that's $1,800 that we're charging. And so it's like $150 a month. There's other regions like Nashville, people are paying like $6,000. Ohio, Columbus, Ohio, for a yearly membership for an indoor driving experience. It's crazy. We know our market, and that's not going to fly where we're at. But the 1,800 is a good spot for us, and we've sold. We're at 23 of those, and we're basically allocating for each bay 25 members. So we're halfway to that 50 membership number, like, again, 2 months in. So that's been pretty cool. Same kind of concept. We just do the pay in full. We've had some people say, well, can we just pay it monthly? And I'm like, well, I just kind of say, we got to pay for all this stuff. It's kind of my push on that. And, it's great because right now it's like 99 degrees out. And I just tell them, it's 70 degrees in our golf simulator. If you want to come hit there.
I never heard of that. I'm like, how the hell is he going to do a golf simulator where it's nice all the time? And it's the same,
No,
like I would
no,
put it in like
it's
upstate
not
New York.
75, man. It's not 75 like it is. It's like Placid. It's freaking
That's
99, and the humidity is like 110%. So,
wow. Have you seen an uptick in people coming in when it gets like really hot, or you haven't looked at the data that much yet? It's
well, I
so new.
mean, for the hourly, so we do have the memberships, and then what we're going to do is fill in those gaps with like an hourly, like $45 an hour. That we haven't promoted that side of it yet. We've had just like our gym members or patients will sign up for like an hour. Generally, when they do that, we're trying to convert them to doing the yearly membership.
Mhm.
But yeah, so we haven't really pushed that a whole lot, but we have, like, in the last, we probably have like 4 or 5 other people that are interested right now in the membership because of the heat, and it's like an older population, so they don't really it's harder on their system to be out there. So
Yeah.
um, but yeah, so that's pretty much the concept there. And what I love about it is, it's kind of obviously, Amy, you've got that gym, so there's a progression. Like you've got patients graduating from PT going into the gym, and then obviously the gym will kind of feed the PT clinic a little bit with different injuries and stuff. And one thing that we did with our the clinic is I had, instead of doing like those huge sliding doors, we ended up putting like windows like that you would have on the outside on the inside. So each clinic, like the clinic and the gym, are separated by like two double doors with a bunch of glass, so people can see in and out. They kind of see what's going on in the gym. So as our patients graduate, we can push them to the gym membership. And then we did the same thing with the golf simulator. When they're working out in the gym, there's two huge windows that they can see, what's going on in the golf simulator. So that piques interest as well. So it's been super cool, just that how that concept kind of evolved and everything. So yeah, let me show. I got a couple more pictures. Let me see if I got. Did y'all watch that video? So this is kind of what the gym looks like. Um, so I can talk about how we ended up picking this equipment. We used a guy in Orlando. I went to Orlando and looked at the equipment, and half of it is used, and then the other half we pretty much just brought brand new for like the free weight side of it. Um, and then the top right is the physical therapy clinic, and you can kind of see in the background those windows that we have like looking into the gym. And then the bottom right is the golf simulator area. So but yeah. So, and then this was our like 2 weeks in, parking lot was already full. I was like, we need a bigger parking lot, needed a bigger building. Probably should have built an 8,000 square foot building, but anyway, yeah. So it's been cool. And then I got a couple more pictures. Yeah, yeah,
Like that.
but pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Pretty
If you
good.
guys want to see the video tour, I just put the YouTube link in the chat so you can kind of get um, a better look at what's going on there. But does anybody have any questions for Lee
Yeah,
about it?
that when I shot that video, I sent that all to the founders. So there's a reference in there for those guys to come down and. But it's open to anybody. Actually, if y'all want to check it out, no problem.
Only if
So,
you attend our webinars can you come down and see?
or yeah, maybe you need to come to Phoenix.
Maybe
That
come
might
to
be the
Phoenix.
thing. Yeah.
All
So
right, Lee, great segue. So for those that don't know, we're doing one of our live events. I don't know. I don't even know what number we're on right now. They should be like chapters or like seasons, but we're going to Scottsdale, which I've never been to Scottsdale. These guys have been to Scottsdale because we did a master. Did you guys do a mastermind, a golf mastermind out there in Scottsdale, or was that somewhere else? You
yeah,
did that.
no, it was yeah
Yeah,
Phoenix.
that
It
was
was
out there.
Phoenix, Scottsdale. Yeah,
Phoenix. Yep. So we have that coming up. But in 2 weeks, we're going to do another master class. We're going to have Robbie and Joey from Rehab CEOs, which I know some of you guys know. They're going to come talk about marketing. There's so many things they can talk about. We're trying to narrow it down for them. Those guys like to talk a lot, so we'll figure out what's going on there. But if you're going to have this kind of dream scenario where you put up this building, there's a lot of things that go into it. One of them is marketing. You're going to have to increase the business that you're bringing in. EMR is obviously going to be the organization of all of that marketing. Make sure that you capitalize on that. Robbie's going to talk about that. And then Will Humphreys from Virtual Rockstars. This guy does like a million different things. So the biggest pain point that we've had recently, we've heard from our owners, which I don't know anybody that's like, I get too many PTs applying. I don't know where to put them. So we're going to try to get him to help us out with some recruiting because he's really good at that. So that will be not this upcoming Thursday because I will be on a paddleboard. It'll be 4th of July. But the following Thursday on the 11th, that's when that master class is. So if you're in here already, you're signed up for that. If you're watching a recording, there'll be somewhere to kind of get on that class to click on and just register for that. The event in Scottsdale, it's 12th, 13th, and 14th of September. So a little bit cooler. We're going to do the new format that we've gone to, although I say we almost change it every single time. But this last time we did it in Nashville, it's probably my favorite version of it. So we did Thursday, we did hot seats. So if you guys want to sign up for that, that we give access to that to our current clients first. And then if there's seats left, then we will open that up to the masses. But that's be on Thursday. It's like a 1 to 2 hour hot seat where you have to put your numbers up on the board and we kind of tear apart your practice and then we help you build it back up. We just started doing that again at Nashville, and the practices that we had there, we got some really good feedback from them. So they like that. And then Friday, Saturday is going to be our normal programming. You'll get a ton of information about that, what we're talking about, but it's really the pain points that we keep hearing over and over again. Hiring. Lee's going to talk more about clinic expansion. It's really, if you're looking to stay like status quo and just kind of do what you're doing, it's probably not the event for you. It's for practice owners that are looking to grow and expand and take care of their people in a big way, and also take advantage of the opportunity that's out there. I mean, we're hearing of practices growing, I mean, almost on accident, like not doing anything different or changing things. People are starting to come back to physical therapy and starting to see the importance of that. So, like, we turned, and Lee, this happened to Lee before it happened to me. Like, we kind of turned our marketing off because we were just getting such a huge influx of new patients that we didn't have anywhere to put them. And it wasn't through anything amazing that we were doing marketing wise. I just think people are coming back more. So handling that inflow of patients is what a big focus is going to be on at the live event. So so for our clients, obviously you get that for free. So Amy will be there. And for anybody else that
Yes.
is not a client, it's really almost free because we don't charge that much for it.
For
It's
real.
either get
Yeah.
free or almost free. So the bigger hurdle is kind of getting you out of your practice. So just kind of getting you away. I can't afford to shut down my practice for a couple of days. I'm telling you that the feedback that we get from our live events is really positive, and people are really happy that they go after they've made the leap and done scheduled the flight and all the hotels. So if you're gonna have more information about that coming up, but for right now, have a great 4th of July weekend. I want to thank Sharif for coming on and talking to us about Empower. I'm really excited to meet up with him again out in Scottsdale. Thanks to Lee for showing us, you know, in a small period of time, what crazy things can happen when you write it down on a piece of paper, right, Lee?
Yeah,
So you
for
just kind of
sure.
put this vision down, set up a mission, and then dominate. Like he said, I think the thing I come away with the most is like, yeah, the dominoes just started to fall. So, well, Lee's not the luckiest guy in the world. What he did is he put some intention into it. He said he's going to do it. He posted it. Like the other thing, like posting that on Facebook. It's like, hey, I'm doing a new project. Like, I want you to do that. Like, there's no going back from that. Like, it's just
Yeah.
kind of setting yourself up for, I put the stuff out here with my vision. You know, here's the drawings. Like, I can't go back now. That would be really bad. So just put yourself out there. Good things will happen. And hopefully we can help you along the way. Thanks, everybody, for coming. We'll see you not this upcoming Thursday, which is 4th of July, the following Thursday for our final series in the masterclass. And as always, guys, we'll see you at the top.
Thanks
See you
again.
guys. Thanks, y'all.
Thanks, Sharon.